means you have to be acting as a state agent with another state agent in order for it to be considered commerce under their purview that they can even look at. You're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. Someone's going to keep leading you around down by the nose, telling you to write your children's and your spouse name on a piece of paper, and hocus pocus, that's going to put them in a trust.
If you look up your supplementary powers of your state constitution, it would tell you that they can only administer property that's ceded to them.
So how did your parental rights become ceded to the government?
Okay.
How did you cede your parental rights to the government? If they can only have the capacity to hold and purchase lands for their corporate administrative powers, how can they sell your house?
Each county shall have the power to purchase and hold the real and personal estate necessary for the use of the county.
So somebody better be coming to work at your house every morning and clocking in from your house, your apartment, your brownstone, your condo, your trailer even. This is the importance of pulling this up. Here we go. Welcome everyone to today's call. Today is the alleged third day of the alleged first month of the year 2023. And we're gathered here today as usual for Bible study. So y'all can go ahead and say goodbye again to Sunny and y'all.
Bye,
Sunny.
Okay. So I'm really excited to share today's call because it's going to be a mini lesson of what we have already made a mega lesson in our classroom called Pigpen. Now, Pigpen was a class that a group that was open to everyone, but we decided to make it into a 4-part, I think, series where we studied specific pieces of information and we share specific pieces of information in that classroom. So this is basically going to be like a quick and dirty mini version of it. And the reason why we're doing this is to tie together what everybody seems to be struggling with. The government agents start talking to us and we keep trying to figure out what to say back, what to do to protect ourselves. But one of the things that everybody is missing is that these agents in agency are not just supposed to be talking to everyone that they lay their eyes on. For some reason, we believe that they can or should or something. So when they make accusations against us or send us invitations, what do most of us do?
Show up.
Show up.
Show up. Jasenia, I'm glad you answered. What did they tell you was the reason that they think they have jurisdiction over you?
Because I showed up.
They actually said this to you, right?
You know what, Malika? Today I didn't go to the invitation and the freaking judge suspended all my visitation. So it's like, I know we're working on things on the back end, but they play so many games. So I understand both sides of why some people hesitate.
Yes.
So like,
well, it's mostly coming from lack of knowledge of self. If you don't know who you are, you can be led around by anyone. So when you went to court and you asked the judge, how do you have jurisdiction over me? And they literally verbatim said, because you showed up.
yeah.
You have to understand that it's always that first showing up that does it. Because if you didn't go, but you also didn't submit any information at all, not even 2 sentences saying, hey, I realize that I'm not supposed to be here, which is why I'm not coming. I remove all prior consent, both actual and implied. So no thanks.
You're right, because I looked at the transcripts prior to me getting an attorney, which is also another way you submit to their jurisdiction. And I could see in the transcripts that the judge can say, well, I can't really do anything because she's not showing up. There's nothing I can do. I can't put a warrant out for her arrest. There's not like, and I could see the back and forth between the CPS agents and the judge and the attorneys. They didn't know what to do. The only reason why I showed up for that first appearance 2 months later is because my son's dad took him from me. So then I knew if I didn't show up, maybe he could get custody. So that's what it was. But I would say you're right on that. If you never appear the first time, there's nothing they can do.
Okay, can put into perspective of what happened. They suspended legal visitation. They suspended the right for them to tell you when you can visit your property, when you can't visit your property. So you still have the lawful right to do so. So now you would, if it was me, I would notice the magistrate, equity magistrate back in the district, or the contract administrator to get to the equity magistrate that, hey, I understand that you suspended legal rights for visitation, which I never had to begin with. I don't have a legal delegation authority to submit or comply with these things. So I'm glad you suspended them. That's great. Now I'm here to fulfill the law, not destroy it. So I'm asking you to adhere to my lawful rights of my property, which is also my husband's or my ex-husband's property, but I have him under private contract. You're sending him this private notice too, for him to comply. If he does not, I will send the marshals in an equitable manner to return my property or make him submit the property if he won't come to terms with me. Does that make sense?
It does. I just didn't catch who you said I would need to make that appeal to, because when I pulled the courthouse, they were like, "Oh, our appeals take 30 days to 6 months to even be heard."
No. I didn't say appeal. Okay, you're going to notice these people in private through the law of private notice, and notice any man that has sent you a paper. You're going to put that name on there. You can change the cover letter, the cover to it, but the gist of the notice is going to be the same, that this is your property. Actually, it's your creator's property that you're in steward over. You helped create it. He helped make it, or I'm sorry, he created it. You helped make it, and you're one of your lawful use and animation back of it to help nurture it in nature. Okay, so any man that comes to you is trying to lord over you and take away that possessory interest of use and animation and natural nurturing of nature. Does it make sense? They're all trying to lord over you. So you have to have sound of mind to recognize that in all instances, whether it be a child, whether it be a fork, whether it be a car, whether it be your house, whatever. It's the same principle, divine and natural law.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Yes. So today is going to be a very important conversation, connecting the dots for those of us who have been following for the last couple of months. When you guys say timestamp, it's probably best to hashtag timestamp. It's also best to hashtag the topic that's being spoken about in the moment so that you can go back to that time slot where you wrote the words of whatever the topic was. So you can come back just to that section. All right. We got Issa in the house. I was just thinking about him. Equity is a time traveler. Absolutely. So if you've been following along for the last month or so, you guys will see that we started off talking about the fact that these agents in agency are not supposed to be talking to us. That is one of the biggest gifts that I can give to anyone. And one of the biggest gifts and most important gifts, when I say big, I mean as important to anyone that we commune with about anything. The mindset that there is some reason other than our consent that a government agent can talk to us about anything at all, much less invite us here, hither, fro, or whatever. We have to internalize that. We cannot just think, well, this adult is just commanding me. And we just think we have to go because of what, I mean, like, it's just our mindset that's making us think that they have some special anything that supersedes our need to consent as free people, non-slaves. So we came from Article 1, Section 8, specifically clauses 3, 10, 14, and 17. Those are the main things that we need to look for in the state constitutions, as well as in the county charters or county statutes. I know some of you said your county doesn't have a charter. This is known. We know this. Like I said, we did a class, Pigpen. We know that more than half of the counties do not have charters. They will say things that like we're a statutory a statutory made county. And it's like, what is a stat? What exactly is that? But all they're saying is they're little USA. That's basically what they're saying. You know, like how they have little Italy, little China in certain areas where there's a concentration of a certain ethnicity of people, a certain culture of people, certain language of people. So that's what these United States, what these charter, not non-chartered and even chartered counties, okay, are saying that their only jurisdiction is over United States citizens that happen to be residing due to the resident presence being deemed necessary by the board of Title 19 USC 81O. Okay. They're just saying that when those persons are in their local vicinity, that's who they have jurisdiction over.
Yeah, well, that's because the county, if you take off the Y and it's the EE, it's the double ether. So the count is those people keeping count. They're in the middle. The count is a middle.
Yes,
They're
that's why
keeping-
they're all run by the federal census.
Right. So they're keeping count between the private sector people that engage with the public that are being of character or personage. They're the Bill Clintons, they're the athletes, they're the people that want to engage with the system, and the county is between them, okay, because they're in the private sector of the public and the lawful people like us. We're lawful, we're not part of that stuff. So when we engage with the county, we ask their mediation, so to speak, not arbitration, not subrogation, mediation, to meet us in the middle of the minds that, hey, we're not part of these people playing this game in the private sector, or the fools of the vulgar public, which I once was, that didn't know what was what, which I think I was more in the private sector.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of kudos there, but I think I was more in the, I think the private sector are more fools than just the popular and common folk who don't know anything, you know.
Yes, because
You know what I mean?
that's mainly because, Bobby, the private sector, which are the private people who register businesses with the
Right.
state,
Right.
they are being used by the state as the
Yeah.
go-between with the regular private folks
Yeah.
and the state.
They're swelling. They keep these people that keep submitting their children in contract and titillage, really being sycophants, keep making these sacrifices of prodigal sons, keep swelling the system. So us lawful people have more problems out here because
Yes.
they keep indoctrinating these people to these false thoughts and beliefs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because what they're doing is presuming that since both games are going on at the same time, right? There's the game of life,
Sure.
which the regular people are attempting to live, and then there's the game of Monopoly, which is what the
Yeah.
private sector and the public persons are attempting to play. And because both games are going on at the same time, they make it seem like we can just decide that you're playing this game. And because the private people want the things that they perceive to be only accessible if they're playing this game of Monopoly, they go along with it to a certain extent, even though they might be complaining.
Sure. If we can put it, we can put it in perspective of the popular and common folk are playing checkers. The county is playing a Monopoly board, and the private sector being playing Star Trek 3-dimensional checkers. You know, there is 3 levels of this trinity that's going on, and if you're outside of all that, you're the fourth. You are the foresun. You are the foreskin. You are the covering of everything. So you're coming back out of that circumcision state. You're not piecemealing. You're not cutting yourself apart. You are full and complete. Does that make sense? Quadrants are of heraldry, okay, and that is of the fight. We can't be cued like that anymore. Does that mean we're not shielding? We're not being an esquire. We're
Right, the Esquire.
Yeah, we're not carrying a shield anymore because we don't have to fight. We're in the protection. With that, when we are shieldless, when we are stateless, these Moors want to say, well, if you're stateless, they'll grab your ass up and throw you on out of the fucking, and the state nationals say that too. Well, hold on a second. where are you putting your full faith and credit at? That's what I'm asking. Who are you profiting for? If I'm profiting for my Most High, I am shieldless because I should be in his full, that is full faith. I am his protection. I am in the gloaming. And if I'm taken out of this world, guess what I get to leave with? My word and my honor to him. Nothing else.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And this is what we've put aside so that we can get accolades with keeping up with the Joneses. You know, I want that.
Emoluments.
I want that, you know, big house. Not saying that there's anything wrong with wanting a big house, but the thing about it is we want a big house while everybody else has a little house, just because we can now compare ourselves or have people compare themselves to us. It's not that we want a big house because we have 8 children, right? You know, of course, you deserve a big house. You have 8 children, please get a 9-bedroom house. Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned from Chris Hallett, the deceased Chris Hallett, rest his soul, is that the emolument. That
Yes.
emolument is very powerful to understand, and it goes along with the accolade that you just mentioned. So if we're not being of adornment, we cannot be clothed like this. It's all about how you're clothing yourself and how you clothe others. If you're forcing cloth on other people, you're making their tapestry of life for them, and that's a direct blasphemy of your creator. That's his job, not yours.
Absolutely. And when we are, especially when the system hides behind, like in a lot of the so-called child custody cases or whatever, or even they hide. Okay, the attorneys are always hiding. They're either hiding behind other private people, or they're hiding behind a fictitious entity corporation. So, for example, whenever you look at the caption of a case, and you see that it is a fictitious entity of any kind as the plaintiff, a fictitious entity of any kind. Give me some examples of fictitious entities that might appear on the caption of a court case, like the
The
one
state
you
of
might
New
be dealing with
York.
now.
A bank.
Right, any bank,
Any state.
any county of, right? Any state of, what else you guys saying in the comment, okay? They're all fictitious entities. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If there's a second name of a man or a woman included in that plaintiff section, okay? If there's not a man or woman, that means there is no injured party. Does everyone comprehend that? If there's not a man or woman named as plaintiff, and I don't care if their name is all caps or not, that's not what's important here. If it's not like Douglas Robert, you know, if it's not like Sandra Williams, now that might be a name of a company, but more than likely it's a woman, a regular man, regular woman. So the problem is not just that there's a fictitious entity listed as the plaintiff. Okay, that's not the problem or the only problem, because if there's a fictitious plaintiff listed there, then there's a man, male or female, doesn't matter, a man listed as the defendant. What must the relationship be between the plaintiff and the defendant in order for that to be legal and lawful?
Employee.
That's right.
Yeah, and
That's
that goes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It has to be an employee-employer relationship. Or what else can you be if you're a regular man? Again, a company suing a regular man. Besides employee, what else can you be?
A harmed party.
A
A
what?
harmed party. Harmed party.
Acting as a person.
If you, they can't be, a defendant can't be the harmed party. A defendant cannot be the harmed party. They would be the plaintiff. But if you have only a fictitious entity as the plaintiff and a regular man as the defendant, what does the relationship have to be between the fictitious plaintiff and the regular man?
We have to be employee.
Separate from employee, somebody just said that.
Consensual,
What?
Contract.
consensual.
A contractor. You can be a contractor, which is similar to an employee. Talking about the relationship. What does the relationship have to be for a fictitious
Contractual
entity
agreement.
without a man? Because it could be a fictitious entity, it could be United States of America, and whoever is the name of the man or woman that's attorney general or whatever name of a man or woman.
Corporation versus corporation.
But when it's just a fictitious entity and a regular man as the defendant, when it's a fictitious entity as the plaintiff and a regular man as the defendant, there's only a couple of relationships that it has to be in order for that to be a legal and lawful position.
Agent.
Someone correctly said employee. That is correct. That's right. You could be a ward, you could be an employee, you could be a contractor, but there has to be some type of legal relationship between the fictitious entity and as the plaintiff and the regular man as the defendant. Does
So if you're
everybody follow
acting-
that?
So if you're acting like an employee, a devotee, a warranty, a grantee, a auditor, a adjuster, all these things, there has to be something that besides self-assignment to give you the delegation authority to do these things, right?
Yes.
Where's the minimal?
That fictitious entity through an officer had to have given you some type of if you are the named regular man or woman as defendant, the only way that caption could be legal and lawful is that the fictitious entity through an agent or yourself, you have to be the agent really of the fictitious entity in some way, shape, or form.
So we're
You
talking
understand?
about,
They
we're
had to
talking-
have given you a job of some kind as an employee, as a licensee, a contractor. Do you guys understand?
so the caption comes from cap, I can't even say the word.
Some
right
people
now.
are still not getting it.
No,
If you open up a piece of mail or someone shows you their case or you're looking at a case online or wherever you're seeing it, and in the position of plaintiff, there is only no other entity, no real man or woman. There's only a fictitious entity listed there of any kind. Wendy's, McDonald's, the United States, the city of somewhere, the county of somewhere, the agency, the whatever department of anything, Department of Taxation, Department of Revenue, Department of anything.
in lieu of,
They are the only name there as the plaintiff. And then in the position as defendant is just a regular man or woman. There has to be a relationship between those two parties. And it's only specific relationships that it has to be in order for
so
a
they're
fictitious
they're offering you an
entity to bring a
invitation
claim
to
against a
come and
regular
put
man
your
or
will
woman.
forward.
Go ahead, Bobby.
There has
Uh,
to be a substantial nexus.
Yes, okay, so look at the word nexus. The N can be the L, so that's the lex. The L can be the R and the X can be the G, so that's the reg, that's the regulated. Okay, so there has to be something in between there, so it's in lieu of, it's in lieutenancy of. So it is in competency of, there has to be something there. Well, what is that? Well, if you don't have sound of mind of put your will forward, that you're not talking crazy as a one USA insane person, they're going to tie it to a firm number decedent will, so they can be your pans patriae. Oh, this little orphan, he's a foundling. He's lost in his head. He's lost somewhere. He can't see. He's bifocal. He's cat-headed. The word cat-headed means to have two beams coming out of your eyes. Think about that for a second. So if you don't have sound of mind to know the words that you're using and the will that you want to put forward, and it's all scattered in context, they're going to be your daddy. They're going to put their decedent will, tie you to
Yes.
that, and they're all
Yes.
going to start talking for you.
That
So what-
decedent will is very important. Someone's going to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Heidi Aza. I was wondering, so Child Protective Service has no case against an individual, obviously, I mean, a being. And is there a code or statute or something that we can
They-
quote in our
they've got-
claim saying
They've
such?
got a case against the trustees that are holding the decedent will, because our true will intent is not coming forward. So they have to, you're a minor ward of the state. So therefore, any productions that you made are minor wards of the state, and whoever those trustees are not managing your craziness correctly. So they have a case against the trustees that are going to manage those decedent wills. You understand that? It's passing the buck.
everything in law says it. And this is what I'm trying to hammer home with everybody. If the federal constitution says under the section where the law creators, law writers, lawmakers, called the legislature, specifies who they can make rules for, I need you guys to stop asking, is there a law that says they can only talk to their agents? That is the law that says they can only make laws for their agents. So if you can only make laws for your agent, how can you talk to anybody else but your agent? You have to connect these dots for yourself. That's why we keep talking from the beginning. The states can only make laws not inconsistent with. Who has found that in their code, the actual phrase, and to make all laws not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States is very important. Because if you know that the government of the Constitution can only lord over those who work for the government, and then the state cannot make laws inconsistent with the federal Constitution, who can the state make laws for? Hello?
Employee.
Exactly. The other people
Circle.
who work for
I'm
the
sorry.
government. Because the government, if the federal government says we can only make rules for government agents, and then in the state statute, it says we can make any law we want as long as it's not inconsistent with the federal Constitution. Can a state make a law that touches private lives?
Absolutely not.
I don't know who said circle, but circa.
I did. I said it.
Right on point, brother.
You guys have to put this dots together in your mind. The federal government says, and make rules for the government, make rules for trade among foreign nations.
It's not me.
Someone has a lot of background noise.
Somebody's tearing down the house.
If
Sounds like-
the federal government says you can make laws for this, you can make laws for that, and then the state laws say they can make whatever law as long as it's not inconsistent with the federal law, you have to know that that means that if the law of the federal says you can only have land dealing with arsenals and dockyards and public parks and shit, they cannot suddenly make rules for your private house. Does that make sense? Or
Yes.
am I just talking shit?
Yep.
And I'm making a
Absolutely makes
long
sense.
stretch.
It
Okay,
makes
Makes
sense
sense.
because why would a federal government only be able to do that with those types of lands, but all of a sudden a county can come in and say, oh no, your house is for me.
Well, the federal government can only do that with those types of land. Those types of landings. When people speak of land, it is a legal and. It's a but and or an or. Okay, so when men spring out, when they leap in their minds and they come bounding and building towers of Babylon, they have to land somewhere. And when they describe where they land, this is mine, mine, mine. That's what the government has the right to rule and regulate, because these men are trying to be earthly kings and they're trying to lord over Mother Earth and take parts of her that is all of ours.
right. And that's the problem. The federal government says to make rules for the government, to make rules regulating state level interstate commerce. Don't let these gurus tell you everything is commerce. I mean, you can let them tell you whatever. You can let them tell you anything that they blow out their ass. But if you're not asking questions, to clarifying questions, and using your own mind, if the Constitution says that they can regulate state to state commerce, that means you have to be acting as a state agent with another state agent in order for it to be considered commerce under their purview that they can even look at. You got it, guys. If you don't get this, you're never gonna make it. You're never gonna make it. Someone's gonna keep leading you around down by the nose, telling you to write your children's and your spouse name on a piece of paper, and hocus pocus, that's gonna put them in a trust. You trying to put live, living people in a trust as the objects of the trust and not the beneficiary. Like, it's just ridiculous nonsense.
So can I ask a question that I'm sure you already answered, and I'm sorry I missed it. Where exactly does it sound, please?
It's already in the chat. As I said, today, we're not going backwards, we're going forwards. We already covered the federal level 2 weeks ago. Today, I asked everybody to pull up their statutes for the county. If you local jurisdiction is a statutory county near you, and the municipal code or city charter that governs the city. So you can look and see them say it again to you in your face that it's rules for them, because they cannot make any rules that are inconsistent with. So we already went over the Constitution, like I mentioned several times already. The sections that we went over were Article 1, Section 8, clauses, 1, 3, 10, 14, and 17.
Are you speaking about Madison versus Marbury?
No, I'm not speaking about cases specifically. I'm speaking common sense and being able to link two dots together so that we can think more clearly and string a few sentences together on paper.
What happens when your city ordinance doesn't have a reference at all to the county or to its own charter?
The city is always going to have a charter. It's
Yeah, that's
always going to have a
impossible.
charter. The
Yeah.
counties do not always have a charter because, like I said, some of them will say we're a statutory county, which is what they told me when I called the county, whatever the main offices of the county. And they told me they
Correction.
were a statutory county.
I'm not saying that they didn't say that they had a charter, but the city ordinance, the city ordinance does not reference the county ordinance.
Why
nor
would
does
it? Why
nor
would it?
Does it reference the charter? Well, if.
Well, the
if-
Constitution doesn't reference the Bible, but that's
Okay.
where they derive all of their stuff from.
So we are following an order of laws based on what you're saying. First, we covered the federal, and now we're looking at county and city.
Yeah.
And based on the information that we have from the federal, we should imply, or we could imply, that the county and the city charters carry the same level of authority that.
It's
the
not even
federal does.
implied. You will see exact words. And to make all laws, please write this phrase down, everybody, and look for it. You can look for it by the whole section, pieces of it. You will find in everything the state level, county level, city level, you will see, and to make all laws not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States. That means no matter how they twist and turn or twist and shout, okay, their law cannot be inconsistent with the federal Constitution. So if the federal Constitution says they can only make rules for the government, who can the city make rules for?
Our city government.
Their city government. Who can the county make rules for?
The county government.
The county government. Because if they try to make a law that says it can touch your private life, would it not be inconsistent with the federal Constitution?
Correct. That is correct. It would be very inconsistent. Correct.
This is common sense as well as it is written. We don't have to imply a damn thing because that's where they're fucking up at. They want to imply when they go to work and they don their uniform and they can visually see you, that all of a sudden that means you're in their jurisdiction. And that is not what it means, because we believe that's what it means too. Oh, I have a policy officer talking to me. I have to talk back to them.
Okay, I get that. I totally get that. And what was tripping me up, and it might be tripping other people up, is my city charter is silent on those things. And so I am not doing the right work in drawing through the conclusion.
You have to look for those words to make all
Yeah.
laws not inconsistent with. I mean,
Right.
you will see them say things like, the other thing to look for, the other hot button word is good faith. Good faith. That's a very important term right there, because they will tell you good faith required. If you look in the penal statutes and in the civil statutes, you will see that term good faith. Look for it. Look at what they tell you it's required. And this is why we are winning, my people, because they have an absolute requirement to be acting in good faith. And it is actually criminal to act in bad faith. It is criminal to act in bad faith. It says it in the Mason's Manual of legislative procedures. It's an absolute requirement. And the reason why that's a hot word is because when we send them notices asking for the record that shows that we are actually in their jurisdiction and they cannot provide it, they can't claim to be doing anything in good faith anymore. Nothing at all.
And what is good faith?
Response. Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
The good faith is what we just described. The good faith is you haven't sound enough of mind to read what's on the paper.
You sound far away, Bobby.
Shoot.
You sound like a drive-through window speaker.
Well, what about now? What about now? Okay, so you have to be sound enough in mind to look what's on the paper and see what's good, what's double O. Okay, what is even of the ether and what is in reality. You're here to fulfill all the laws and destroy none. So as they're trying to manage the public trust of these subvertants who don't know who they are, where they come from, they want to know for a fact that you do. So where is your full faith and credit at? Well, we just described that earlier on this call. It's in your Savior, and it is theirs too. But as they witness, they bear witness that these people come in and make false claims and animalistic behavior of pissing and shitting on things and calling it theirs in their territory. They have to manage these people. They don't want you to be one. They want you to be clear of mind and sound and tell them that your full faith is in your Savior and the protections go there. So therefore you don't need a shield. You don't need to be impersonating opinions. You don't need to create all these personalities to protect your mind, because your mind cannot be moved. It's unshakable.
Emotional outbursts add on to Bobby's wisdom there and what's being shared for the good faith portion. That's why I enjoy, again, when Keith shared the 26 USC 7701 that you got there in the traffic blocking law videos of the folder, Malika. When you look at 26 USC 7701 H2D, okay, if you look at that, the language that's there may not say it directly, but it will say something to the point where the lessor cannot know that the certification is false, right?
Yes.
So that's a way of them saying is, we're the goody goods and doing this in good faith, even though we know you don't have a contract, an oath of office, or autograph certified statement that says you're going to use your property for 50% or more of its use during trade or business. And that right there is the bullshit. And it's almost like they're using good faith to allow you to foolishly be railroaded, and then you'll have the argument, why don't they tell us this, when really in the first place you shouldn't have been registering your shit to become a lessee of some shit that's already your property. Did I say that right?
Yes. You know, when we find ourselves asking ourselves or others questions like, why don't they tell us? Always ask yourself, why you ain't read?
I agree.
Why didn't you read? Why did you send your child to go get a driver's license? Why did you go get a driver's license? Why didn't you read the driver's license contract so that when you actually signed on the line near where it says, I have read and understand?
Under the penalties of perjury.
Under the penalties of perjury, no less. Why didn't we do that for ourselves? Does anybody have any good replies to that?
Because my mama didn't tell me to.
I said good replies.
Well,
Hello, everyone. My name is Felicia Allen. This is my first time here. And I would say that I did it because I was an active duty service member.
Okay.
That's why I went and got a driver's license.
That's a great answer. That's the type of good answer I'm talking about. She was already in service as a GI issued member. So she was following directions, which required her to have a license. How many of us can say that that's the reason? That's our reasoning.
Okay, can we put this in perspective about the one woman said it's because her mama told her to, and this is a problem with being earthly mothers and fathers instead of still adhering to the fact of Mother Earth and Father God, because once the child is conceived, we are stewards over the child, and now we are in brotherly love of that child, or sisterly love, or motherly love, and we put that in perspective, and we teach the child to come up with these same divine discernments of all things. That way they know how to use and animate all things and not be in a possessive mind state of ownershipping, importing and exporting through mercantile. So as the second woman came on and said she had to because she was a service member, well, I understand how she's saying, and she would hold a license. So when she does the serviceability of the proffering of the civil defense that she volunteered to, she can still be the living soul woman, but she has to put in perspective that as she does mercantile work for the public service of the whole for defense only, she's not to be moved into commercialization of versus peonage, and she can take that up with her superiors because they are supposed to be in good faith also, if she stays in good faith. If she don't stay in good faith, she can be used and abused just like any other servant.
When our mama told us to, that didn't absolve us of having to read it.
Right.
When having to read the actual document and to follow what it is meaning. Same thing if we have any other good reason that we went to even get that type of service or product. We are not absolved of knowing what we are getting ourselves into. And this is why we're going through this exercise right now. You guys are going to be blown away. So what you're looking for when, hold on, what you're looking for when you pull up your county charter, your city charter, or the statutes that relate to it, because like I said, not all counties have charters. A lot of them will say they're statutory counties. In both Georgia and Washington, they are statutory counties, and it's Title 36. Title 36 is the statute entitled counties. So if you have a statutory county, you're going to look in your statutes. They're going to have a table of contents, and you're going to look for the title that's called counties. And in those statutes or charters, you're looking for particular words. You're looking for words like powers and authorities. You're looking for a word like jurisdiction. You're looking for a phrase like powers and duties, because some of them will say powers and authorities. Some of them will say powers and duties. Some of them have both. Some will say powers, authorities, duties. You're also looking for terms like property of. Very important, because you will see that they have an interest that is reflective of the federal interest in land. You will see the mirror. You will not be confused anymore. They will talk about armories. They will talk about property of the county, property of the city. And then you're going to be like, so what were they doing at my apartment again? What were they doing at my duplex?
Soliciting.
My house?
Soliciting.
Yeah, they whoring. No thanks. I'm happily married.
They slanging on the block. They slanging.
Malika, I've got one question. I'd like to just shift the focus away from what they're doing to us and just touch upon wages and how, because this is interesting. This is making me now think about how this impacts wages very quickly to bullet.
Well, the thing about it is with so-called wages is that and we have to understand, like, we want to tell ourselves, I deserve to get paid. We want to tell ourselves this. We really do. I deserve to get paid. But really, you don't. I just want to tell everybody, you don't. You don't deserve to get paid. What you deserve is to do that only what you wish to do without anybody enticing you for any. If you don't feel like sewing a dress, don't do it. If you don't feel like singing a song, don't do it. You don't feel like playing that instrument, just don't do it. And don't tell yourself that if somebody gives me enough of what I consider to be money or payment or wages or whatever, suddenly I'm going to do that thing I wish not to do. Because then you start acting like Paul in the Bible.
Yeah. Paid is a perceived aid. Okay, a wage is a written age because it's being put down in memorial. A holding is a heretic holding, premature holding of yourself. So when you do these things, you're speeding up your timeline to death because you're doing dead works in mortuorium. Okay, you're civil mortis. So you have to, that's why you have to understand what you're doing. Divine discernment includes intellectualism, being an intellect, but having intellectual reasoning is pretty dangerous to set apart people because it can overtake you, and now you're becoming clever. You're trying to figure things out. You're trying to fig leaf. You're trying to recover yourself. So if you're doing these things, what does it say in our good book about cleverness? You should look that up.
The thing about it is, as when it comes to wages, and not just wages, like, you know, like I said, reciprocity is something totally different, totally outside of the realm of what we're talking about, because it's commercial. What we're talking about is the commercial side of it, which we've all been entrapped into. We have to understand, like, when we do certain things, like sign up to as an employee of these registered corporations, okay, companies, corporations, businesses, they're registered with the state. They have a license under the state. They use that to say we as workers / employees suddenly work for the state. Can y'all see that? See why they would say that?
You went right to the point. You went right to the
Okay.
point of distinction. So let me just table this question and then I'm listening.
Okay. I just want to say this. I just want to say this. People considered employees, they have us under the Public Service Act. Please look it up.
Okay, I'm
You
gonna
think
look that up.
all you're earning is, oh, I just work for this, or I'm just a contractor right now, or whatever we tell ourselves. But
Circle!
when we when we're signing up for these wages, getting paid or whatever under these national Paylocity and ADP and other check systems type, they just use anything to say you're a public employee. They just have to. They use anything. Oh, you work for this company, you're a public employee. They put you under a public, is that what it's called, guys? Is it called it's called like Public Service Act or something like that, where it's talking about the employees.
Yeah, proffering for the state.
I'm seeing public health.
But it's like public service member or something like that. Public Employment Act.
But that's actually conversion on the back end, because if you come in and you're identified as a contractor, meaning, you know, it's a single, it's a one-off. And then on the back end, if the payment is not dispersed, here in California, there is, and I think I talked to you about this, there's an agency under Department of Labor that will.
Again, there you go, under Department of Labor. Once you're under the Department of Labor, you're considered a public worker. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. So if you start working for any organization that is registered and created under the laws of a state, they try to count you as a public employee. Does everybody comprehend why?
Oh, absolutely. And to the lady who was just speaking, thank you for saying that, because what I was thinking was, you know, all of this, the fraud doesn't go away. I think Malika is focusing on what the fraud is. And some of us
I'm not focusing on what the fraud is. I'm focusing on what the reality is. So you realize that you are going to knock on their door and go, hey, rape me a little bit. Hey, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. That's what we are doing.
And
they're minding their own business most of the time. We go knocking at their door, and then when they come after us, we're like, oh.
No, you're right. You're right. And what's popping out in my head is, oh, this is conversion. This is this. This is
it's
that.
not conversion. It is literally you going along, rowing your boat in the game of life, and then you wake up one day bored and go, hello, Monopoly, let me in. This is what we are doing.
This is origin. This
They
is
do
not
not
conversion.
make rules for private people. They do not make laws for private people. They do not make banks for private people. They do not print money for private people.
That's what conversion
Right.
is.
But
That is what
who's doing the
conversion-
conversion? Who's converting?
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it when I go
It's
make the
called
mark.
compensation for personal services.
All right, allow the question to be
That's
completed.
48
because
CFR.
all of this is appreciated. However, I'd like to complete the thought so that
Okay.
all the elements are here before the group. After, well, let's say the event was produced or scheduled to transpire just before the onset of the COVID Dick Show. Now, the payment then became, well, for this amount of time that you came in to do whatever, we will pay you. Well, that payment for me did not come. So I utilized the tool within this department that I'm alluding to receive my unpaid promised, compensation for showing up. They then said, I'm an employee. Well, I'm not. I was a contractor. So there is a definition issue to be explored. However, they applied an exemption to this city, Pasadena, that said, because you are an employee, Pasadena is exempt from the typical assessment of fines and penalties for their late disbursement. That's the full question. So I'm trying to figure out, how does Pasadena or any other municipality gain for themselves an exemption from interest and penalties? And I talked to you about how this impacts people who do not pay us for our delivery of services and goods, because that does happen here a lot. So that's the full question.
They
Well,
gained
they
that by
told you
you
though. They
not
told you
actually
why.
making
We're
it
just gonna
wrong.
say you're an employee.
Correct.
So they told you why. Now you have to ask them to prove that you were in fact an employee,
Yeah,
or
that's what I was
else
saying.
they are abusing process.
There
which
you go.
means that it's legitimate for actual employees, but illegitimately if it's applied to non-employees. So if they don't have a record of your employment, which is why I'm sitting here on this particular post,
okay,
then they are guilty of abusive process.
Once you do that,
yeah.
Or you're going to have to legally level up, if you can, to be a contractor, so that employee, what they say about employees does not, if this is what you want to do, this is your free will to do, and they're going to accept your free will to do, self-assign as a contractor and not be that description of employee if that's upsetting you. Does that make sense?
Well, it does, but having done this previously, I know that I'm not an employee of the city of Pasadena.
Yeah, but we
right?
can't say things like, I know I'm not an employee. The way we have to phrase it is that the record does not reflect
Copy
that I'm
that.
an
Thank you.
employee, because then it
Thank-
takes it out from you're just self-pontificating, like they try to always say that we're doing. I am above the law. I am a sovereign citizen. That's how they try to make it show me, right? But you gotta flip it around a little bit and say that, ask them for the record that reflects you're an employee. Tell them that you want the last 2 years of W-2 or whatever it is that you want, your employment application and stuff like that. And if they cannot produce it, they will be held responsible for abusive process. That's how I would communicate it.
We need
Because
to
that
ask
is in essence the end of the show. That's like what the conclusion that we're heading towards right now.
Emotional
you.
outburst add on to that, to your wisdom. We need to ask questions like we did before we even had like Expedia or like MapQuest. You need to ask questions like, excuse me, I'm looking at this map right here and it says that this is supposed to be right here, but it needs to be, excuse me, it says that only employees. Can you show me exactly where at the corner of what the fuck are you talking about? And
Right.
Avenue?
It's true. That's exactly
where
true.
I'm an employee. Like, that's kind of how we have to be.
Yes. We
And-
have
and
to
can we-
stop acting like we don't want to ask questions because maybe we think we already know, or I don't know.
And can we deal with the conversion and the fraud? The conversion and the fraud that happens on the backside does not concern me, because if I don't create the origin of those things that can occur with me signing by the crucifix mark next to it, if I never incept that genus, that origin, that religious conversion can never happen. It's an impossibility.
Yeah, we have to stop looking at it from a purely victim mentality. And that's why I keep highlighting the fact that These banks are not coming to our house. These agencies, I mean, sometimes they come to our house, but most of the times we go to them and we sign up with them, something. And then we don't have all the terms and conditions of the agreement. And we either think that they don't matter or I don't know what, I don't know. But we have to look at things more carefully and make sure that we are staying in honor with how we wish to actually be perceived. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's continue though, because I'm gonna run out of time. I could already
Okay.
tell. Okay. All right, so when the county calls us up, calls upon us in the mail, on the phone, I heard some people say that they call them, to enter into their venue for any subject matter. Who can we ask for this record? Remember, we're looking for things like corporate limits, county powers, municipal powers, because look what it says here. This is from Am Jurisprudence. Am Jurisprudence has a section about municipal corporations. I suggest if people can get their hands on it, they do so. My Am Jurisprudence disk is acting up. It's not allowing me to open it and read it from this computer. So I'm not sure what I have to do, but this is a clip that I took from someone who was reviewing it. This is Big Sib and Alphonse. They were doing a video reviewing the corporate powers of the municipal corporation. And again, as I said, you're looking for these things because you're looking for the as above, so below quality from the federal constitution, specifically Article 1, Section 8, the different sections I mentioned there. Read what it says here. It's fascinating. A municipal corporation must have both territory and inhabitants. The corporation consists of both territory and inhabitants. Both are indispensable to its existence. The inhabitants of the territory, listen very carefully, included within a political organization are the members of the corporation. Who remembers becoming a member of their municipal corporation?
1, 2, 3, not it.
I'm not a
Not
resident.
me.
No.
Because in order to become a member of something, what do you usually have to do?
Sign up.
Sign up.
Contract?
Sign up. How do you sign up to become a member of a municipal corporation?
Application, employment.
Or something? Probably an application for a business license too.
I have a quick comment because I'm only catching bits and pieces. I'm on the road traveling. Being a volunteer fireman, does that unfortunately make me subject to all that bullshit then?
Perhaps while you're working in that capacity.
In the capacity, but not, okay. I get where you're going with that.
You have to be at work in order for things you do at work to matter. You cannot be at home and they come knocking at your door. Hey, we saw you take longer than 30 minutes for lunch. What would you say?
Right. So since it's volunteer capacity,
right?
Then, okay. All right.
Even if it wasn't volunteer capacity, even if you were an actual employee, you're still not an employee 24 hours a day. So while you're eating your lunch, having a 2-hour lunch on Sunday, they cannot give you a demerit at work.
So Malika, now that you're on that point, hey, how you doing?
Hey.
So you know when like you would go to like a public building and they have a sign-in sheet, right? Somebody just bring this to my attention the other day. When you log in, what are you doing? You're logging in what time you get there and you log out what time you leave. So guess what they do? You abandon that time frame, which is your commodity.
Yes.
Right? Your time commodity. And then they take that time that you created on that log sheet and they go and get your credits, because now you're acting as an employee by signing in and signing out, just like the fireman says. You know, when he volunteers, can they come at him when he's not in that capacity? No, they cannot.
Right.
'Cause
They
you're not
can't
on the
come at
clock.
you when you're not in the capacity at any time. Even if you work 20 hours a day, those 4 hours you're off, they can't do shit to you. That's what everybody needs to realize. If you never clock in at all because you're just not a municipal officer of any capacity at any time, then it just applies to yourself 100% of the time instead of 4 hours or 8 hours or 16 hours or how much ever hours it might apply to an actual a volunteer member or employee member or whatever. But they're telling us clearly that in order to be bound to, in order for them to be able to lawfully create a warrant because you did not come to their municipal event, they have to have a record that you are in fact a member of the corporation. It says it right there. And when you see these numbers that say 13, 14, 15, these are cases that they point to that support this. But everybody has to understand that case law is like 4th or 5th down the ladder when it comes to application of law. So even though some people are always like, can you point me to a case or whatever? I like just looking at the Constitution. I see no problem with the Constitution. I mean, it trumps even case law. So I know some people like case law and I'm not knocking anybody, but I personally don't care. I might use one if it's like outstanding, you know, but I'm not looking for it to fortify every single little thing in my document.
So may I read 14? They, rather than the common council or governing body, are said to compose the corporation. So the inhabitants that compose the corporation are the people that raise to sovereign power, quote unquote, some being or group of beings that would be the presiding officer and or board or commission. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct.
As a legal conception, the corporation is an entity distinct from its inhabitants, but it remains a local community, a body of persons. The sum total of its inhabitants and the proper custodian and guardian of their collective rights. Wow.
Yes, that was the line right there.
Wow.
The sum total. So we are not them.
The sum total of its inhabitants and the proper custodian and guardian of the members, their collective rights. They just need to leave us alone. If we are not members, and then of course, if you became a member of something, guys, would you not remember signing up?
Yeah.
Correct.
How many things you became a member of it? You have no recollection, no documentation that you ever signed up.
So Malika, on this membership thing, right? When I look at my utility, which is the light company, guess what it says on there? It says Sawney Electrical Membership Corporation.
It says membership.
Yes. So when I call them up and I say, hey, what is this membership about? They say once you sign up, you're like part of the shareholder, like you're in the shareholder, like you're a member.
Yeah,
so you get the benefit. Because we the end user has not come out and say, hey guys, hey, when I signed up with this, I didn't know I was part of your corporation where I'm, you know how these attorneys get all these privileges?
Thinking, oh, I'm just turning the lights on. They're thinking we're getting another shareholder.
Yes, it's a membership. So you're contributing every time you send that coupon, and you're contributing to that fund, that membership fund.
You're being a sharecropper.
HOA.
Luxury, you know, you get to go on trips and do all this stuff. Yes, it is a membership. So now you have to find out who the hell signed me up as the designate to get the bill, because it's a substitute thing. It's all a substitute. So when you sign up, you're the beneficial user of that thing. At the end of the day, you're the end user, right? And remember, we go over this in the utility class where it says they are the customer.
Yes.
So who's supposed to pay the bill?
Right.
They are. But guess what they did? They went ahead and filled out a form.
A credit default swap.
Yes. And it's actually called a designate form where they make you a power of attorney to get
that's where they swap the credits. That's why we call it a credit default swap. So people can get a concept of what it is, what that means. They swap you out.
Swap you out, and that
with
goes
them
for every
to get
account.
paid.
Yes, for every account, guys. They have an actual thing called a beneficial ownership certificate, but you can create your own and let them know that, hey, I'm the beneficial owner of that thing. Handle it. You know what I mean? So I'm learning
Yes.
though.
Yes.
Hey, can I have a public outburst real quick, Malika?
Sure.
Hey, I just got off the phone with the county clerk for Marion County. I told him, he's like, well, what? Because he just called me back, and I'm like, well, hey, I go, well, I wanted to speak with you because you represent the people. I go, and he's like, yeah. I go, well, I explained to him what a person meant. I go, look at, and I told him where is that in the ORS. I go, well, this clearly states that I am not a person. Well, he goes, well, it says that you're a person. I go, but it says a corporation, entity and all this other stuff. I go, so, but in the definition of person, it says person. I go, that's just like me saying, define a cat. And I point to a cat and said, that's a cat. Like, that's not a definition. Like, if you, get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah, but, it also says a person. I'm like, but you can't define a person as a person. So this county clerk doesn't even know anything about this stuff. And I said, all right. I go, look, I got a warrant now. I go for resisting arrest, which I got to go clear up, but it's going after the person. I clearly state I'm not a person. It's talked about something else. I go, a crime is committed if I've done to person harm or their property. Because I go, even if you don't know law, you do know the basic, which is a person has a right to confront their accuser and question witnesses. He's like, yeah. I go, well, if Oregon, if you cannot provide me Oregon, then you're denying me my rights. Well, he don't even know this stuff. I'm like, look it, man. I go, let's move past that part. I go,
Forget about them.
It's a secondary, it's a secondary crime. I go, there's no other charge there. How can you charge me for resisting arrest if there's no initial crime? I go, this all makes sense. This all should be thrown out. I go, this is your responsibility to represent me of the people who you have been voted in. And he's like, well, that's not our job. They took that away from us back in 1980, and that's the clerk's job now at the courthouse.
What?
Yeah. Wow. I said, hey, can you pull, I go, can you pull up
That's not our job. Is that in writing? I want that in writing. I want to see the thing dated, whatever date, 1980, that says you're still going to pledge to protect and work for the people, but that's not actually going to be your job anymore. I want to see that.
Get in contact with your attorney general office, right? Get in contact with the AG office and find out who did he delegate to act on behalf of the state in that county. And you're going to see the response and you use that to your advantage.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to write that down. Hashtag the time, minute 109.
Well, I asked him, I go, well, I need to speak with the magistrate judge because only the magistrate judge could put out a warrant and all this stuff. And he's like, all right. And he tried to look it up. He's like, I can't even find who the magistrate judge is.
What?
Yeah. I was like,
right. Because the magistrate,
well, they got judges. I go, but not every judge is the magistrate judge. Do you understand that? He's like, no, I didn't know that.
Oh my God.
If you don't have,
I just got on the phone with him right now.
If you don't have a previous relationship with the magistrate judge, like you've already got a rapport that legal matters don't concern you because you're a sane mind and you don't accept licentious solicitations, and he knows you don't accept those, you're going to have to go through the contract administrator, which is, and the clerk is protecting the contract administrator.
Okay, you might also look for the CEO of the court. You guys write this down, the CEO of the court, okay? So I'm going to show you guys right now using two different locations. I'm going to use Shelby County, Tennessee, the charter for the county, and then I'm going to show you it in the statutory county of Washington. So you guys can see both. Now, I came down here to the preamble, but it's great from the beginning. Okay, it's only 49 pages. I like looking at who they give shout outs to. You see, it says the county charter commissioner. Home rules. I know a lot of you guys are seeing this home rule charter. They put it in quotes because, of course, they have to define it. And you see, like I mentioned about the powers and functions, private and local affairs, public corporation powers, public corporation rights reserved to the people. I love it. All right. But see, we're going to go just here to the preamble. We're going to skip over the introduction because they do have that first. And we're going to go to the preamble. But it's good to glance at stuff going down. because you see they have the branches, executive branch, judicial branch, so-called, general provisions, prohibitions, blah, blah, blah. They do their intro. They tell you when it was first created. Authority for the charter form of county government. Authority for the charter form of county government. The aforementioned Tennessee constitutional change to the structure of county government in Article 7, Section 1, et sec, provided that the legislature could provide for alternative forms of county government, including the right to charter. Following this authority, the legislative adopted whatever this is, statute as charter, whatever act of this, which is it's probably a usurpation, but we're not going to hold them for it because again, it's their monopoly game. So let them go for it. Right. So let's go down to where the preamble is.
So what they're saying, they're alternating as men's minds alter in and out of, like me putting in faith in Malika of doing things for me instead of me doing myself. That's why the contract makes the law. If me and Malika are putting our faith in someone else to judge our altercations, our controversies, we've moved so far away from putting our faith in our Creator and trying to make amends with each other on the way to court that someone else has to do it. So that's why contract makes the law.
Yeah, well, contract implies a meeting of the minds and full disclosure and all types of stuff that we all know is not really happening. So
no, with 1 USC 1 insane person, yeah, that's an impossibility. Right.
Right. So here we go. We, the people of Shelby County, Tennessee, in order to perfect the structure and enlarge the power of our county government, blah, 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 do adopt this charter as, read it with me, the fundamental laws for the government of this county. Who are the laws for?
The government of this county.
All right. And what does it say in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 14? To make rules for the government. Does everybody see as above, so below? You see why I say there's no code that's going to say anything else other than to make laws not inconsistent with the federal constitution. If this is only laws for the government of the county, is it not consistent with the Constitution?
It is, because it's sisterhood with it in Coventry of nunnery.
You're looking at it with your own eyes, guys. Are you not?
Yep.
I just showed everybody. You just have to find it in the same county or city or whatever that's near you, because it's going to say it.
Joinder. Hashtag joinder.
It literally says law. This charter as law for the government. So if the city charter is law for the government, the federal charter is laws for the government, what the state and county charter have to be?
Rules for the government.
You're seeing it with your own eyes.
Malika,
Find it.
I have a question.
Find it in your charter and show us where this is in your charter, guys.
It's
Everybody
beautiful.
needs to know this, because whenever someone says, I have a court date, and they're charged under a statute or an ordinance, what are they saying about themselves?
They've been working for the government.
They've been working for the government. And we don't ask each other that. Oh, girl, you got a thing next week? When you started working for the government? Oh, bro, really? You got a hearing tomorrow? When you started working for the government?
Working on the chain gang. Whoop.
I like when they ask you for your government ID.
And people bust it out. They caught my mom like that. My mom was like, you don't have any jurisdiction over me, blah, blah, blah. The judge was like, let me see your ID. My mom went, boom. Case over. Who told you to do that?
Baiting the mama.
They bait the mama. That's right. They baited my mama.
Malika, for us people that are in New York, I noticed that the state, like the charter had rules for all the counties in New York. But when it came to New York City, I had a hard time finding something for the Bronx. And I even looked up.
Because the Bronx is not a city.
No, it's a county.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a city. So you have to look at it under the statutes for counties. You have to go. That's why I said I'm going to show you guys.
But the Bronx is a county. And then I try to look up Heidi's too, because her county is Kings County.
Listen.
Mm.
When it's a statutory county, you have to go to the section of the statute that talks about counties. So the statutes are called RCW here in Washington. Come
Oh
on
my
now.
God. Malika, I don't know. I'm fishing around with this thing that you're doing right now. I'm trying to find the same document. And this shit popped up. Federal Public Law 92-544 provides for national fingerprinting-based criminal history record checks for governmental entities. You hear that? So when they're trying to fingerprint you to get your job and all that stuff, it got to be a government job for licensing purposes.
That's what we don't understand. When we become realtors, when we become any type of licensees, we're signing up to work directly for the government. It doesn't matter if they try to say, "Oh no, you work for so and so Realty," but so and so Realty is nationally registered or federally registered.
And that's called
Because they have to
sharecropping.
operate under HUD. All of them have to operate as HUD agents. They have my husband working as a HUD agent, but when he goes to work, his name tag says, because they hide. Remember I said in the beginning, they're always hiding. Okay. His name tag does not say I work for HUD, but every piece of paper that he has you fill out when you walk in here says he works for HUD.
And that's called carding.
Okay.
Sharecropping.
He has a
and carding.
so-called private company. And then, so it goes from a private management company that's hired, check me out, hired by a board of directors that allegedly owns the building. But all of those entities, the management company and the board of directors, they all are registered with HUD and the Department of Commerce federally.
Where do we find the corporate charter thing that you're talking about with making rules for government?
This right here is from Shelby County, Tennessee. That's why the URL says shelbycountyn.gov. So you guys know it's a government website. I'm just showing an example. I'm just showing an example, a random example. Not really, it started random, but not really random because it says it right here in the preamble and it's beautiful. But I say random because someone came to me that was living near this jurisdiction and they were like, "Oh, how do I solve this problem?" And I was like, "Well, let's pull up their charter." And bam, right in the preamble, it says that whatever they were charging him under, which was an ordinance, is for the government. So how easy is it to beat whatever this charges? You just ask them. So this is just Shelby County, Tennessee. Now I'm going to show everybody how to find similar things for a statutory meaning that there's no PDF charter that you're going to pull up online. When I called the local people here, they told me the reason I cannot find a charter is because they don't have a charter. They're a statutorily created county. I don't know what the hell bullshit that means. Except that it just means if you want to look up the municipal corporations, you have to come to the general statutes. You see right here where it says cities and towns, and then right here it says counties. Optional municipal code. I love it. Optional. This is where they tried to charge our son. Optional municipal code. But when you read that, this optional municipal code, all they're talking about is licensees. When you go to their definition section, it says employee, employer, employment. I was like, wow, this is nothing having to do with my son going to see some girl up the street. So you can't charge him for obstructing, just like someone just said. Obstructing is a secondary crime because they had to have been investigating a primary crime upon which you obstructed. So that's why they always try to give you 2 tickets. So anyway, if your county you cannot find a PDF for the county you're researching, go to the general statutes, look at the table of contents, scroll down to the section where they have either cities or counties, and you will see. They have, I did a lot of what's outlined here I posted a lot of it in Lawful Living under the pig pen, especially because I dig through it from time to time, just looking at all the stuff. Okay, you don't need all this stuff, but it's good to see all what's here, because one of the things that that is here that a lot of people don't expect to be here is county property tax, which is the ad valorem tax. And this is why this conversation about the as above, so below is so important to everybody, regardless of what you think your issue is. Because child support and visitation is through the county. Everybody needs to understand that. It is the district attorney and the local county courts that only have jurisdiction over county property, which they're trying to say your parental rights are somehow county property. Okay, they do the property tax for your house, which is supposed to be county property if they're taxing it. That's what they tax you. They tax you right here for the ad valorem. They're counting your property, your private personal property, as county property and sending you a bill for services. When in fact, their charter, their creation was, hey, will you guys give us federal funding for our business stuff if we promise to provide services to the regular people? And then they go, yeah, we'll give you money if you provide the service freely to regular people and charge the ones using it for corporate use. But then they turn around and bill everybody, and then we start arguing with each other, pay your fair share, pay your fair share. We have stupid cops, like 50 of us heard at the same time that day when the woman came to get her car out of their impound, and she tells them the reality, the truth, that her private property does not fall under their county tax code. And he goes, well, personally, I'm offended because you're using the roads. Well, dummy, your charter was founded upon you paving the roads freely for me so you can use it for your commercial purposes, not me helping to pay for your commercial purposes. I'm not the one profiting from it. Why would I pay for it? Use is not what makes you automatically bound to pay for something. We have to get that out of our minds, get it out of our hearts.
Commander Dumbass, I think his name was.
You see right here where it says corporate powers? Why doesn't it say government powers?
Right,
Why
they're a
doesn't it say-
corporation.
You see, the counties of this state shall have the capacity as corporate bodies corporate, to sue and be sued in the manner prescribed by law. You see, we don't have anything that says this about private people. We private people have never taken on a capacity to sue and be sued. We would have to each individually make up something like this. I, Malika Dulce, have the capacity as a corporate body to sue and be sued in the manner prescribed by law, to purchase and hold lands, to make contracts, and to purchase and hold such personal property. Look for what reason, guys. Look for the reason. As may be necessary to their corporate or administrative powers. So if you can only hold property related to your corporate administrative powers, what kind of property is that?
Public.
But what kind of property is it?
County.
But what kind is it, guys? What is it? What is it?
Public property.
It is, I want to hear, it's the courthouse.
The fire station.
It is the fire station. Okay.
Schools, hospitals.
It might not even be hospitals, because remember, it says that the counties only have the capacity to purchase and hold property necessary for their corporate and administrative powers. So would that not be like city hall?
Right, yeah.
City hall?
The county library.
Right.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
Say what? It might be a park.
You could take a look at the one for Georgia, Malika. I just posted a link in the chat.
You guys apply your mind to this. When you see this, if they can only have the capacity to hold and purchase lands for their corporate administrative powers, what are they, how can they sell your house? How could your house be one of the things listed in the public county property sale? Anybody can tell me?
You know, I just realized, Malika, it says right here under powers, each county shall have the power to purchase and hold the real and personal estate necessary for the use of the county.
For the use of the county, right?
That's it.
So somebody better be coming to work at your house every morning and clocking in from your house, your apartment, your brownstone, your condo, your trailer even.
Mm-hmm. Fucking usury, I hear.
This is the importance of pulling this up. When they're standing at your door, this is what you should be like, hey, yo, who this? Do you have any proof that this is county property like it says here?
Correct.
And furthermore, Malika, it says, if you read down, to hold all real estate conveyed in which the county is the beneficiary.
Yes, they have to be listed as the beneficiary. And if it's a beneficiary position, then there must be this trust that exists, a trust. Because you can't just have a beneficiary just hanging out here, right? There got to be a trust.
Constructive trust.
Yeah, why is my property on the assessor roll?
When was it ceded to? When was it granted to? And then just like with the federal level, it just cannot be any type of property granted to them. It has to be for use. It has to be for necessary to their corporate administrative powers. That's not the bounce house park, is it? I don't think that's the ice cream shop.
Wow.
I don't think that grandma's house has anything to do with the corporate administrative powers of the county. And then what does this last part of the sentence say?
And to do all of the necessary acts in relation to all the property of the county.
Of the county.
Wow.
Are we seeing rules for the government? Property of the government?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as at your house or apartment, does it say precinct something or other on the front door?
No.
I don't think we're sure. Some of us were not sure about that. We see people with uniforms knocking at the door and we be answering instead of asking. How did this become? You see where it says do all necessary acts. Might process of service be considered a necessary act?
The mailman is afraid to come to my house now, Malika. And
As
so
they should be.
So is a utility company.
As they should be. Don't be sending me no bill neither. Don't be asking me for no fucking postage. Here's
Right
my
on.
favorite part that is also overlooked. And this is what I think we should absolutely highlight and put into our documents. I said it before and it keeps haunting me because every time I go to make a new document, I just keep seeing this severability. And I think it's a sign to add this one sentence in our communication. And the reason we're adding this one sentence in our communication is, again, to combat the erroneous idea that we are anti-government, that we are saying that they should not exist, period. I don't think that the government should just be totally abolished. I believe that they do serve an absolutely necessary function because so many of us are bag chasers. We love the game Monopoly. I personally have never liked the game Monopoly. Okay. And I'm not trying to force people who don't wish to be free. I don't want to, if you guys like financial slavery because you're one of the plantation owners, thumbs up.
Malika, that's
if
what
you
that,
got willing slaves, boom. Because there's lots of people are willing slaves.
That's what that county clerk told me. He's like, after I got done with the whole spill, he's like, are you a sovereign citizen? I go, come on, man. I go, what are you trying to say? I go, that doesn't even make sense. That's an oxymoron.
I never try to educate them on that. I always ask
They can
them.
claim sovereignty though.
Them what they think. What does that mean? Am I a sovereign citizen? Well, what does that mean? Let them tell you. Well, anybody who knows the law is a sovereign citizen, because then you might be.
So I said, I was like, I ain't make none of that up.
I
There,
never
that's all
tell
involved.
them, I never act like I know what that means.
Yeah, that's good.
You
Probably
know, I
shouldn't have
never
either.
try to educate, like what I want to hear from them. What does it mean to them? Because if they
Again,
start saying things like, oh, it just means anybody who knows the law better than I do, then maybe.
before MapQuest, pull out a map and be like, excuse me, I'm looking for Sovereign City, since you mentioned Sovereign Citizen.
Yeah, where that at?
Where Sovereign City is, I never seen it.
It might be next to the city of, it might be next to the city of Black.
That's
The
also
city
cool.
of the whites. Have you guys ever heard people say stupid shit like that? Like, where on the map is the whites? Can you show me here where the nation of the blacks are?
Out of Africa, baby. Hey, if a sovereign citizen is one, if sovereign citizen is one who's not proper for the state, maybe I am that.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe I might be. I want to know what's that. What's your definition? Because if they don't know what the definition of person is, how the fuck they gonna know what the definition of sovereign citizen is, even if there was one?
They're the ones who take the oath to the statutes and the Constitution and then say it doesn't apply to them.
Sector.
You like that in that letter, huh, Am Woman?
Yeah, Malika, you
She's
know,
not playing fair. Where? She didn't ask for leave of court. Bitch, I'm not a court officer. I don't have to act the motherfucker I hired if I can do something in my case. What kind of stupid shit is that?
Malika, you know that 3,000 slaves sued a plantation because they wanted their slave status back. That was when they had the Scottish, the first Scottish paid laborers were shipped over to the South, and they paid them to do X amount of work, and they were like cleaning up like crazy. Next thing you know, the plantation was getting sued by the former slaves, saying that they wanted their jobs back. So, I mean, people do want to have some slavery, white or black. You know, everybody wants to have a little payola.
Some people want
That's
to
what
be
they want.
slaves. It's only for
right.
people who wish to be free. It's only our ego that makes us feel bad for people that wish to be slaves. Don't let your ego make you feel bad for people who wish to be slaves. And
At
don't
all.
let your ego tell you that they're all having a horrible time. Okay?
People need
I
that.
want to go get a Tesla too. Yeah, but I ain't
Girl,
got no
let's get it.
social to give them. So I got to find some other way.
Some people need that company store structure, so they only have one thing to answer to why they're asking for all the other things they need.
Correct.
Wow.
I want to be Chicken George for Halloween. Let me stop.
If any provision of this act or its application to any person or circumstance is held invalid, the remainder of this act or application of the provisions to other persons and other circumstances is not affected. This is our I have come to fulfill the law. Okay,
Correct.
and not to destroy it. We're not saying the government should not exist. We're saying it is inapplicable to this circumstance. It is invalid against this transaction. So carry on your business with your slaves that wish to be with you. Because it and I'm not saying that to knock anybody. Like I said, when they go get their Teslas and they do their what do they call it? Cancellation or whatever.
It's discharge.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If they can hold on to their stuff, I totally understand why people do that. But there has to be a way, right, for those who don't want to play that game to still get what we need. And that's what we're doing. Right?
The queen does not need to rule here because the here is not under the queen.
Word. The here is not under the queen. I don't need to rule here. Right? So you have this in all of your stuff. So we've just seen them say it's rules for the government, right? I hope y'all wrote that down. We also just read them say it's property of, it has to be of theirs. So their rules over their organization that you have to be a member of, and then if they have property in question, it has to be their property. It literally says right there. You guys, I mean, come on, I'm highlighting it, you're reading it. Property
The
of
use
the
of the
county.
county.
The here is not under the queen, and as I go over there, it's not theirs either.
I'm not checking for theirs. They can go fight over theirs wherever theirs is at. Okay. All right. Trading Brigade. I'm gonna scroll back up. Some people are sharing their charters and sharing their sections. Thank you for that. I hope everybody's having a good time. We actually maxed out the call today. Some people are not able to get on.
Oh my goodness. Glad I got my seat early.
Got it.
So,
It's kind of me and
shout out to everybody who invites people here, because you guys saved my life. Since I've learned what I was doing with marketing, I've intentionally, because when you have been especially successful, right? Most people have like a problem, like they're poor. But when you're not poor, and then it's like you still have to change your life. Like, I really appreciate the other people that I've met on this path that came from more successful financially, like millionaires, and still got to the same point where they're like, all of this is bullshit. All of, you're hypnotizing people, because that's what marketing is. So I appreciate when people bring their people here, because I'm not going to be out there like, come. Like, I just can't.
Hey, look.
I can't find myself advertising on Google and all this other stuff that I used to do. And I just can't. So I appreciate you guys, because otherwise, which is my favorite part, I'm just preaching to the choir, and I have no problem just preaching to the choir. We're just going to get smarter and freer, right? Anyway, here we go. Georgia is also Title 36. Like I told you guys, Georgia and Washington are both Title 36. Local government. All right. Which part specifically, Trading Brigade? You go ahead, take it away.
Oh, all right, gotcha.
I was really speaking on number one, as it relates to the property of the county. The governing authority of each county has original and exclusive jurisdiction over the following subject matters.
Do you see this, guys? All in one lump sum, the powers, duties, and delegation.
Have to look that up.
Original and exclusive jurisdiction. Do you guys go ahead and read it and see if you see your life in here? Because I got a court date next week. What?
Emotional outburst add on there real quick. The reason why, and it's funny that the call got maxed out. I will say that presentation that we did on office hours with Dr. G on Tuesday, I know personally that a few people are here based on Dr. G's recommendation and them getting in contact with me. So I'm glad that you guys showed up and are brave enough. And don't forget to ask your questions. And those of you that are upon Dr. Naila's and I invitation. But yeah, that's wild that people are not here. I've never seen it be 95 people. I've never seen that. I yield up.
Good man.
And I want to also piggyback on Trading Brigade, that stuff that he just posted. If you look up your supplementary powers of your state constitution, it would tell you that they can only administer property that's ceded to them.
Ceded to them. So how did your parental rights become ceded to the government?
Okay.
Can someone answer? How did you cede your parental rights to the government?
I'm not saying the certification is false.
Volunteer servitude.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like to hear that they're volunteering, because in their mind, they have been compelled. They have a proverbial gun to their head, a knife to their throat. I'm not sure exactly where they manufactured it from.
That's why I sing in Georgia, because even
Even
Ray Charles can see this shit.
It comes from acquiescence, though. If you don't say anything, and don't rebut, then they say, okay, well, this is what it is.
No, wrong. That was overturned by the Supreme Court. You cannot acquiesce.
You cannot actually give up your rights. And this is, it's not a point of contention, because it's not a big deal to me. I don't think it minuses from anybody. But when you say, for example, all rights reserved, that's a given. That's like saying, don't punch me in my face. I mean, you can try. You're probably standing next to a man with a gun with his hand already on it. But, that it's like, I don't mind people saying it, right? It doesn't bother me. I don't think it minuses from people when they say like all rights reserved, but you cannot actually give away, grant away, acquiesce away your rights. You can only suffer a trespass. That's it.
That's why all these clarifications of signatures are false and not certified, because when I put a mark on a paper, the one that draws that paper back has to make the presumption assumption. And that means they're making the claim of me. They're judging me, jury, and executioner on the spot without asking me my true intent.
Yes, I like that.
And I put the charter for those near Baltimore City Corporation.
This is awesome, though. Look at the limited subject matter. Can you guys tell me where you saw your life on here? Okay, so look at number 9, regulating of peddling and fixing the cost of licenses.
Peddling pussy. Beta males.
Prostitution.
Yep. That's what it is right there.
But do you see they have to be regulating a license?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
What
A foster license.
Well, what is a license?
A fishing license, because that's trading with the enemy.
Yeah, they're regulating lies of senses.
The other thing I want you guys to look up, and some of you guys are going to remember when we did the exercise last year, is the foreign trade zones of the county where these licensees are. So type in whatever the name of your county or local county or anyone you want to research, and type in either FTZ or the term foreign trade zone.
Yep. Any of those licenses are dog tags. It doesn't matter what they call them, that's what they are.
Wow.
Look at this, examining, settling, and allowing all claims against the county. So it still has to be something in the interest of the corporate municipal corporation.
So look about this, as you mentioned, the foreign trade zone, right? In Title 52 OCGA, on the trade zones, foreign trade zone, it says public corporation means the state of Georgia or any political subdivision thereof. Any public agency of this state or any political subdivision thereof, or any public board, bureau, commission, or authority created by the General Assembly.
Foreign trade zones. Did you post that link, Trader McGay? Let me pull it up. Because again, this is going to prove to yourself that they're not supposed to be talking to you. They're not supposed, if you're just a regular person, a regular man or woman, you don't, and even if you do work for the county, they only better be communicating with you while you are on that corporate county clock. Even if you're the bus driver, you are a teacher, okay? You're the secretary of the secretary or whatever of the county.
Sharecropper.
Once you're off, if you're at home and you do not live or reside on the property of the county, what authority does the city cops or the county deputies or sheriff have? What authority do they have to come to your property?
Which that means if your possessory interest of use and animation of Mother Earth and the things that are built upon her is not proffering for the state, they have no legal artificial powers over you to tell you what to do with it. Does that make sense?
One of the things you're going to see over and over, and this is what you should look for in your charters, is property of the county and interest of the county or purposes. County purposes. You see what it says right here? County purposes. You will never see private purposes, private people.
Okay, so if you listed that house on a publication to make a future estate bargain, a gain in bargaining for a tax revenue for the county purposes, that's a different story. You need to know why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and clarify the intent that I'm doing a temporary thing and I'm going to pay you your fair share, but as soon as I'm done with this temporary thing, I'm going to find me another place to live and have possessory use and animation of it like I did before. You understand understand that? You're moving in and out of that commercial activity as proffering for the county, if you choose to do that.
And you only qualify to proffer for the county if you are in fact running a registered business. You
Right.
cannot proffer for the county if you're not running a registered business off of property owned by the county.
So you can trade your possessory interest of use of what you have and hold that you're currently using. Just don't publish it and list it and profit for the county, so you have to pay tax on it. Find someone who's going to free barter and fair exchange outside of those commercial listings, because you're not a lister. You don't have a delegation authority to be adjuster, an accountant for the county, to profit for the county. There's ways to do this without doing it the norm. Okay?
Right.
The
But the
legal
thing
norm.
about it is we're all still fascinated by access to the Federal Reserve System,
Exactly.
because we see that that's what people use to help things go faster, bigger, things like that.
Convenient.
And
Convenient.
yes, the convenience, the absolute convenience. But is that not how the devil tempts us, my people?
That's right. Comfortability.
Emotional outburst question. Real quick, right? My question then is, and devil is lived backwards, and people are living backwards. My emotional outburst question is then, should anyone be registering anything without a contract, an oath of office, and an autographed certified statement?
I would say no, but that's up to you.
Yes, like that's how exactly my answer. I would say no. I would say no because according to the rules of registration, the property that we wish to register does not fit the description of what can be registered. So what we have is people forcing themselves still, because we have people that are learned in the law, but for some reason have not read the rules of registration. They'll say there's nothing that says if you register your property that you're pledging it to the state. And they're right. There's nothing that says if you register your property, you're pledging it to the state. But what it does say is that all property registered is of the state.
What does the INRI?
So if you know it's not property of the state, of course they're not going to stop you, right? But if it says only property of the state or of the state, including the county and the cities, if that's all it has to be registered, and understand, people, the reason that the property has to be registered, think about it. If we all own the cop cars, shouldn't they be registered? If we collectively own these things,
Yeah.
It
The
should be
public-
registered, because then we're going to be able to go, oh, I want to use that insert registered thing. And then you
Yeah.
can go and see, oh, Bobby checked it out.
That's
Bobby
right.
checked out, that registered thing is with Bobby. Bobby's keeping it until whatever, next week, next year, whatever. And you can see that. So when you can have access to that thing, or just keep track of whoever accesses it, period. That is the purpose of registration. So it's not that you can't register your property, but then when it's treated as property of the county, because that's the only property legally required to be registered, why would you be mad at that? What's your recourse?
Yeah, so when they tow it for one of their other federal employees or military officers to put it in the impound to come and get it or auction off for one of them, why are you mad? You registered.
Why are you
said you were
mad?
going to share it. Said you was going to share it.
You said it was shared property. People will tell you, oh, you're just registering it on the county so that there's no property dispute. I'm here to say bullshit, because you're having the property dispute because it is registered.
There is no dispute. You signed it over, bro.
And again, hashtag zip cars.
People will say, oh, well, what's the shit they say? Nonsense. It's registered because of, I don't know, all types of shit. They say register it as private. Do you know that there is absolutely and cannot be any classification under taxation called private?
I registered it in my trust name, bro.
Right.
Right.
Put it in the
Who owns the trust? Well, I do. I created it. Well, who'd you register it with? Them?
Yeah, who you registered the trust with? Did you register
Everything
it
else?
under a law of a state?
Are you trying to commit espionage and hide it within the methodology of contrivances of device?
Wait, Bobby, I have to free myself from slavery by selling myself back into slavery.
No, no, it's not slavery. You're freely doing it now because you're doing it with full awareness that you can cancel in 3 days.
What is the INRA RN? What is it on the cross? INRI. That means the king of Jews, right? Okay. Well, what are the Jews? The Jews are the gypsies. The gyps. It's the king of the gypters. He had to die because he was the king of the gypters. Quit gypping your brother.
Wow. Tried to make him, yeah. In that book.
I'm sorry, guys. Some people are just gonna be stuck in the waiting room.
You only leave so you can get some people in.
Yeah. So I hope this is making sense to you guys. This is the type of stuff we go into deeper in the Pigpen group, because the reason I'm sure you guys are seeing why it's called Pigpen is because only them belong in it. It is literally a box for the people in government, PIG. People in government, or persons in government. Some people say persons in government, PIG. That's why it's called Pigpen. That's why that classroom is called Pigpen.
And it is
so
the IG.
I'm showing you guys here, like I said, the quick and dirty. These are the things you look for. You will see property, all the property of the county. You will see things that say general purpose for particular county purposes. This is what you look for.
I love that general purpose.
Woo. I know. Don't be confused. This stuff, when you say, look what code, you'll find it. You show it from the federal. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1, 3, 10, 14, 17. Okay. And you will see the correlation in the state statutes, the general statutes especially when you go to the sections that say general application or accounts of they actually call it applicability. I know Ann Woman remembers we found applicability of the property code, and it says one sentence, commercial. Oh shit. It's not even actually property if it's not commercial. It's not even real estate. If it's not commercial use, it's not even real estate.
Nope. I tried to look at a different chapter too, because I was like, well, this isn't right.
Yeah, my property's not commercial. Clearly they know it's not commercial.
And when they put the N/A on the paperwork to show that whoever the petitioner was and that tried to make you a petitionee, and they put NA, that means they're saying that what they petitioned is not applicable to you. That is something to savor. That is something to build upon, because they are making the lawful determination that these false legal powers are not applicable to you. They don't apply. You can't be folded like that.
I like when they put the affidavit of non-military status, when the shit only applies to those in the military. It's like, get out of jail free, but we don't know what we're looking at. We have no clue when they say certain things, when they do certain, we don't know what we're looking at. We're totally clueless. Well, especially since they're not supposed to be talking to us, right? We should be able to live, but unfortunately, in a world where capitalism or other isms, communism, socialism, anything that is obviously top down, anything that you have a small group of people ruling over the majority of others, because all of those isms, that's what it is. It's always some small group of people making rules for and ruling over the others. And some of us are okay with that. Some of us prefer that. Okay.
Fascism.
I don't prefer that, but I'm willing to leave the people alone who do prefer to make merchandise of themselves and each other. I'm willing to leave them alone, as long as they're willing to leave me alone.
I like to watch UC fighting.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be like, UFC. That looked like it hurt. Woo.
He come from the top rope.
I don't understand why people are okay with watching UFC when it's not a politician on the receiving end of the battery. If it's not George Bush or Hillary Clinton or Shoot, Biden, any of them, his brother, his son, all everybody, his wife, she need an ass kicking too. Okay, I don't understand how people could watch it and it's not the fucking mayor on the receiving end. I would watch it if it were them. Okay, if it was the attorney general pushing weights because he about to go, I don't know, fight the chief of police or whatever. Okay,
It reminds me of Idiocracy.
I don't want to watch it. All right. Okay, so let's answer a few questions before we go, guys. Am Women, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Hey, lady.
I gotta echo.
Now that's
Hold on.
Bobby messing with you. Hey, lady.
Okay, let me switch. Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so quick question about, because the whole thing with the magistrate judge and going on with this, it just it takes me a little bit of time to get stuff together, right? And I missed the window to, basically rebut the magistrate saying.
Send it anyway, especially if you started working on the document already. Just send it anyway.
Well, no, this is about Alan with his stupid service, because I was hoping to get rid of the magistrate, and that still might happen, and then it'll get thrown out anyway. But what I'm saying is, because technically in the case, the magistrate ruled that the service wasn't served to Alan, the other attorney on that firm.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if I should just do certified mail and just send it to him.
Yeah, we already talked about that. All right.
Okay.
Just send it to him.
Okay, and then the interlocutory appeal, do you think, I was just trying to find, I know. I just wanted to find something that said specifically, okay, this.
Remember I told you, Liliana is the registered agent. So technically he was properly served.
I know.
In my opinion, he was properly
so
served, but
mad.
it's not a big deal to send it again. And it's not that sending it negates you from being able to challenge it.
Okay. Well, because if the MJ gets thrown out, then he will have been served, because the ruling that the MJ did doesn't apply, right?
That is correct, but it still doesn't apply because she is the damn registered agent and she got it. So that's the point. Regardless of what he said or if it gets thrown out or not, he got service because she's the registered agent.
The goddamn registered agent.
Okay, so should I just do both? Should I send the letter?
It sounds like you want to do both. So just do both. And I would have been sent it to him with a 54-cent stamp because he got it.
I know. Okay, and then the other thing was that interlocutory appeal. I was just
because what you could do is just default his ass because he got service, and in the default you can say he got service because Liliana is the registered agent pursuant to here and screenshot and all that shit right there. He got served.
Okay.
He didn't answer. He's in default. I want a summary judgment against or a declaratory judgment against his stupid ass. You
Okay,
could just
so
hit him
you're
like
saying what I could do is I could just do that, even though the MJ ruled against me.
And he cannot rule against you. You're not a prisoner. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. He's just putting in stuff. It has no bearing on your case.
Okay.
On your case. I would
see what
ignore
you're saying.
every shit he put in there. Or once I object to it, I'm done with you. I'm objecting. Shut up, magistrate. Put the default in there.
I missed the time to.
You didn't miss any time. You did not miss any time.
Okay. So I'll do that. I'll re-listen to the call. And then the other thing was the interlocutory appeal. I was just trying to find under that 28 USC 636 1BA. I was trying to find where it said, basically you consent to the C section.
But it doesn't matter about that. It doesn't matter about that. His rulings are unlawful. You asked for a trial by jury. What the hell is he doing here? Oh, under some rule 28. Is that something about prisoners? Because I'm not one.
Right. That's what I feel like it is. Because I'm like, well, how is it that there's this?
It's illegal. It doesn't matter. Even if you did willingly say he can touch the case, his order was illegal.
Right.
focus on that.
Okay. All right, so I should just send the interlocutory off then.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. By the way,
You're
I love
welcome.
it so much. And I love you so much. And
Mwah,
this
mwah,
group
mwah.
is amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh my
Have
God.
you
keep
done,
punching
have
them
you
in the
done
face.
identity theft? Have you done any identity theft on them? Woman?
I have not yet, I don't believe. It's been a heck of a ride.
I know,
It's
girl.
been a
Hang in
lot.
there.
Doing great.
You're
I
doing
don't know why
right.
she's
I need
always
to-
like, but she's
Because,
doing great.
okay, this
But
is
you-
my thing. Like, I know there's like 10 ways to punch them. And so I want to punch them all 10 ways, but I'm only getting like 5 in.
You know what you could do?
I want to get looks. There's people not with their heads behind their back and beat up.
Try. There's a form. I know, you know, I'm not trying to promote the IRS document, but
Yeah, but there's a form from the IRS.
911, it's called 911. You'll get
Okay.
an advocate and let them know they're trying to terminate your equitable interest. Just let them know, you know, write it like that.
Oh, I
It's a
like
tax
that. Thanks,
issue.
Trinity.
It
Yeah, it's a
definitely
tax
is a tax issue
In lieu of.
Awesome.
because
Well,
they're
thank
not
you,
filing
Trinity.
they're not filing taxes for those alleged trusts that they're all
Right.
trustees of.
Oh my gosh, I'm like my third listen on the MERS investigation. It was awesome.
Awesome. I already have a document I want to show you guys. I invited you to it already, Woman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks. Thank you for your patience, Tom. Go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Yeah, you can send that document to me too.
Okay.
I've been reading all your posts about all that stuff here recently. So my federal cover sheet, I'm not sure if I filled it out exactly right. So I went with diversity. Was that correct?
It's fine. Diversity is fine.
Yeah. Okay. And so I also have the citizenship. I had myself as a citizen or subject of a foreign country. Was that correct?
I wouldn't say I'm in a foreign country.
So just the,
But when you look at the civil cover sheet, I think you should look at the, I think we made a video about the civil cover sheet. So do a
Yeah.
hashtag search for civil cover sheet on
Okay.
Lawful Living.
Okay. And so the last thing that I did on there, I'm not exactly sure I did right, is I did False Claims Act, but I didn't have the United States government as a co-plaintiff. So that's probably a
Is
mistake.
it only limited to the United States being a party?
What, the False Claims Act?
Yeah.
Well, this was for the
Okay.
property.
That's why I'm asking. What's that?
Well, this was for the property tax lawsuit.
Yeah, but if you're going under the False Claims Act, like Joe always said, he said, be careful when you go under the False Claims Act because it's only for the government, like the
That's
federal
right.
government.
That's what
So
I'm
you
saying.
don't need to use that as a cause of action, though.
I didn't on my documents, but I just did on the cover sheet.
Yeah, but you can also go just under look at the hashtag for cover
will.
sheet. Okay, that'll
Yeah.
answer your question. Tom,
So-
what is your email?
RGNLSMITH.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
I never remember because it's so weird.
Yeah, I meant to do original Smith when I did it, but that was taken. So the other thing was, so the magistrate, I declined the magistrate. And so I've been hearing everything about these affidavits that need to be sent in, but that doesn't need to be sent in with the form, does it?
Okay, let me just explain what an affidavit is. An affidavit is just a section of on a document that says, I claim everything that I said is true with my firsthand knowledge under penalties of perjury, etc. That's what and that the document is filled with only firsthand facts like at 10 o'clock, a man knocked on my door. At 10:05, I opened the door. At 10:10, he punched me in my face. Okay? That is what goes on an affidavit. Okay? At 10:15, I knocked his lights out. At 10:20, I called the cops. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the cops arrived. That's what you're saying in an affidavit. You're not saying things like, and my feelings were hurt, because that's unverifiable. Okay?
So they
Is
say
it
that
physical pain or he yelled at me or something like that? Can be verified. I have a witness, stuff like that. But the way you felt, that cannot be verified. And it's inconsequential. It's irrelevant.
opinions.
Okay, you're also not gonna say, and they committed treason, because that's a legal conclusion and you don't know that. But you can say exactly what they did. They looked at the Constitution and they said it doesn't apply to me. Right? That is treason. But you don't have to say that it's treason. You just have to say what it is that they did. Okay?
So this document here, it says this document is confidential and do not electronically file this document. Why wouldn't I if it's part of the case? You know, wouldn't I want to put that on there that I inform this magistrate?
No. You talking about the cover page?
No, I'm talking about the decline of consent.
The declination? Because you don't want to embarrass the magistrate like F you to their face.
Sure.
You just need to tell the clerk, no, I don't need their assistance.
Okay, and the very last question. So now that since I need to redo my civil cover sheet, I just take that in and just have them replace it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that usually doesn't go, well, it might go on the case.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, it does go on the case, but the declination doesn't go on the case, and any ex parte communication does also not goes on the case. It just goes to the clerk. And on that form, apparently, Tom, Washington is one of the only states, or maybe this is even one of the only courts that's giving out that declination form, because Woman just shared a case that the guy was making an argument that he did not get it upon filing. Apparently, you're also supposed to get either links to or a booklet that talks about pro se rights or something that the court also didn't do.
Yes, and then it says that in Nebraska local rules.
Oh, I never got one of those. I gotta look now.
Yeah, they're saying basically they try to treat us like attorneys, because attorneys are aware of all the forms. They have links to the forms, they get trained on them, okay? So when we go in there, especially if we promise to pay, they think, oh, yeah, you are you know what's going on. So we're not gonna we're gonna let you print your own declination, say your own declination. So does anybody have any questions about what we covered today? Does anybody want to share any outbursts or realizations from looking at their own county or constitution or charter?
I do, Malika.
Bastards here are sneaky.
I have a promotional outburst. Kings County, and it's very hard to find Kings County, Bronx County, and their charters and all those things, the statutes,
That
codes.
probably means that they're in the statute. So like I keep saying over and over again, I gave you guys an example of a PDF version that you can find online. The example was Shelby County, Tennessee. And then I also showed you how to look in the statutes for the table of contents and scroll down to where it just says counties. If it's statutory counties, like it is here in Washington and in Georgia and several other states, you will have to go to the state statutes and scroll down to the section that talks about counties. You will not find it in a PDF version online. If you want to make sure, you can do exactly what I did, which was call the headquarters of the county. I don't even know what they're called now. And I just asked them for the county charter, and they specifically told me it is statutory, so I have to go look at chapter 36 in the statute. So that's what I did.
Like the mayor of a city, the head of the county should be like the county executive, I think. So maybe
Yeah,
we
but
should-
they call their office or something. I don't even know. I don't know what they call their office. All right, Tom, was that the only question you have for us?
Well, I was just looking up the hashtag for civil cover sheet, and I'm just getting like a Rod Class video.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know why, what else we might have tagged that under.
Maybe just cover sheet.
Maybe just cover sheet.
JS 44.
Hi, Miss Malika. This is Felicia Allen. I am new today. Brother Hassan invited me to your class. I wanted to speak up and ask a few questions concerning a declaratory judgment from the IRS.
Oh, that's not going to be a good topic for today.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
I
No.
really wanted to keep it focused on, and I know I did already answer like 2 questions that weren't about today, which is why I specifically said, do we have any questions about today's stuff? I would prefer to speak on what we're talking about today and get those handles if that's okay with you guys.
That is perfectly fine with me. I was just really wanted to introduce myself to the group.
Well, welcome,
also,
Felicia.
and then let you know where my vision is. Thank you.
What if people transacted the troll toll? Like, because I think that's the issue too with a couple people that, you know, came through the invite from Tuesday. So people will transact the troll toll, but they just, I mean, just tell them, I guess they gotta wait or whatever. You'll let them know. You're good with letting them in. Or just panic. You know what I mean?
Once they're on the site, they should be able to, especially use hashtags, watch all the videos in Friends-in-Law. They have to join the groups. They might not know that because, of course, the front page doesn't take you to the front page. It takes you to where everybody's chatting. So people don't know how to access things. But if you are new to the website, once you arrive at the login or wherever it takes you after you log in, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, it's a troll
might
toll.
look something like this. If you click on the what is this called? The icon. You click on the icon or you click on home. Let's see if it takes us different places. Okay, it seems like home and the icon both take us here. And you see where it says my groups? Okay, of course it's going to show all the groups because it's me, but some of the groups are open, like all these groups here are open, the garden, the peace pantry, the scientific fitness, homeschool, Friends-in-Law is where this video is going to be, and where all the other videos for the last 2 years are. The best way to use this website is see up here where it says groups, members, articles, hashtags, right in this box. It's best to just come to this box, type in the name of a group, or you'll see all the groups pop up here and you elect the ones that you wish to join. Any of them that you wish to join, you need to donate if it's not an open group. Like I said, there are plenty of open groups here. These are some of them. Okay. But if you wish to donate, unfortunately, you have to go to the community page. You have to click on community. You have to click on community from the home page, and then it will show you our pinned events. So for example, this is one of our main classes called the Sue Along. The directions to join are the same regardless of the class. What you need to do is include a hashtag for the name of the class, as well as your username here on the site, with included in your donation, and you will be added to the class. Now, I have people who sometimes donate without saying what their username is, so I don't know who to add. And then they send me a message where, of course, I can see your username. And they're like, I forgot my username, here it is. But it's now separate from your donation, so I still don't know.
Correct.
You know, so it like makes everything take longer if you do not include a note with your donation with the class name and your username. Sometimes I get the username without the class, so it comes across like it's just a general donation, which I do get on a regular basis of just thank yous, you know. So you have to include the name of the class you'd like to enter and your username here. These are most of the classes that we have. Some people, they skim, so they think, oh, do I have to donate $400 per class? Some people do, and it's perfectly fine if you do. However, that's not what the flyer actually says. So it's important, guys. If you can't read this flyer and follow the directions, you are probably not ready to take the class. I hope those who, even if you're new, you can tell from today's class that you need some reading comprehension.
Correct.
You need it. Start with the flyer. People say, well, how much to donate? This is always the answer. As much as possible.
As mucho as possible.
As mucho, right. As mucho, because that's what
Monica, I got my shirt, finally. Jesus.
Yes.
Listen, they were looking at it and they're like, what is this? I said, it's a message.
It's a message. Here's the message. Does your sheriff even read the Constitution.
Oh,
Our
my
friend
goodness.
Jay let us know if the clerk's not reading the Constitution. She's like,
Oh my
it says you're
God.
a person. No, it doesn't say I'm a person, dummy. It says
And-
persons are legal entities. That's what it says.
I'm a pepper. You're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper? too?
And I noticed that somebody was talking about a pro se thing. Now, pro se, right? It don't really mean what we think it means. So if you I love Georgia code. Georgia code tells you once you use pro se, it tells you that you're expressing the trust. It's a trust act.
Got to be able to
Okay.
connect. Yeah. Yes.
Hello?
And I think.
Yeah, we can hear you, Trinity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a trust action. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you guys again for being
Awesome,
on.
awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, ma'am.
Samaya, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
No, I just wanted to say, because I don't want to take up a lot of time. There's probably people who have way more important questions than I do. I just want to let you know, I just sent, I'll send you a message and ask you, could you just check it? That was all.
Okay, Dr. Dix, thank you for your patience. Go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
Thank you. Since there's so many people here, I'll give a brief history, and I'll also relate it to what the topic was tonight. I took the Money Talk class and decided to do a payment impossibility notice to my bank with the car loan. And they sent me a notice. It was a complete bullshit notice. It wasn't even served properly. Talking about towing as one of the things. And looking up my town's charter, I was a little confused because I found only 2 codes that related to towing. And really, you know, when I came to understand or comprehend it, it means that they can only tow for 2 things. There's really no code that applies
It's like,
to
whoa,
me.
there's only 2 things. No, there has to be more, right? We're all looking for, no, they can't just have these six things that they can, no, we start flipping it over. It has to be more, right?
Yeah, so I realize that, you know, in my circumstance, none of this applies to me. So if a tow truck does show up on my property, it would be illegal, unlawful, and, you know, I could then call the policy officers or resort to other lawful
Call
ways.
911. Call 911 on their ass. A theft in progress. So
Yeah,
would you
yeah.
guys like to know what the 2 sections, what the 2 reasons are that he found in his charter, county charter?
Yes.
Anybody want to know?
Yeah.
You near Baltimore County, Alexander?
It's Frederick County.
Okay, off of 70. Okay, got you. All right.
Yeah.
That's a close enough to Frank for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so unlawful parking. So if my car is abandoned or on some public property, some quote unquote city owned property, they can call to have it removed. Or if I leave it on private property, the owner of that private property has to call the tow company to have it removed. So no attorney or bank or anybody could initiate that process lawfully to remove my car. And so I guess what this comes to, my question is, I received a note on my door today from the post office that the bank is attempting to reach me. My first instinct was just to sign it as return to sender, no contract. But I'm curious as to what the consensus.
I'm gonna clap to that. I'm gonna clap to that too.
That's the best option.
I'm also curious about, you know, what might it say in there? Because given what I've learned through all you know, the live classes and even the recorded ones, is that these people can't do shit, especially if we go to court, you know. So I don't know if I should let curiosity get the better of me or just return it to sender.
Can I answer, Malika?
Sure.
Okay, so if you do open it, right, because you can open it in mistake. You know why you can open it in mistake? Because it has your likeness on there, right? So you misinterpret whose name is on there, and you might have opened it by mistake. So you can always correct that mistake, right? You can say, I opened the mistake and still return it because it has your likeness on there, but it's not you. right?
Or I did
If
not
you're curious-
understand.
Right. So, and then you can take a copy of it. Now, what I would do to solidify what you just did by returning to sender is give the post office a notice of liability that they're sending these presentments to you in your likeness, and they know that that person does not reside there, because that is not a man or a woman. That thing is in capital letter. You can notify the postmaster that if they trespass against you again, it's going to be their bond. I'm telling you. You have to put them on notice.
Okay, wow. Damn.
Hey, real quick, if I may, real quick, speaking of the notice part, you might want to notify the or find out if they're under, because in Ohio, all the tow truck drivers are under the Public Utilities Commission. That's where they get their license. So go find out where the tow truck drivers get their license and inform them too.
Okay, cool.
Lika, in my case, the bank did not send any notification or anything. The tow truck just showed up at midnight, about 11:30 p.m.
In a peace.
Yes.
That's breach of peace.
That's why you
Absolutely.
call the police. 911, active theft in progress.
I did, and they showed up, and right before they showed up, the guy took off.
Oi! Because he knows.
Yep.
He knows. They know.
And then he stopped at the precinct, and then he logged it in, and then he did not put my license plate number on there, on the log. And when I went there, the cops were saying that was odd, because they're supposed to put the information there. And then that's when Range Rover called me and told me days later that my truck was towed there and I should come and pick it up.
Oh.
And what you can do, my dear, okay, how do they know that license plate belonged to that truck that belonged to you? Somebody accessed the record, right? Under the NDR, it's a misdemeanor to access your driving record without your express written consent.
And that's why all those police that are getting the license plate scanners, it's all unconstitutional. And
Yes.
everybody needs to start challenging it, because that's an invasion of privacy.
I beat 2 tickets like that. Yeah, they're not supposed to access your record, and it's a misdemeanor. You can, once you notify them in that correspondence, they will back off, because that's an offense.
Okay, I had the repo guy, the repo guy tried to tell the police officer that he had a contract to pick the thing up, and the police officer come and asked me because I actually jumped the car off of the back of the tow truck because he was chained. It was an all-wheel drive car, jumped it off there and told him, get the fuck off the property. I don't have a contract with you. Went around the block and said at a church till the police got here. The police came to the house, and the police talked to him. Then they come talk to me, and he said, well, he says he's got a contract. I said, well, show me the contract. I said, this is private property. This has nothing to do with profit for the state or being within the state. And that guy's trying to do a legal action that I don't qualify for. So the cop went back and asked him to show him the contract. He gave the cop his phone of an email that he got from the bank.
That's not a contract.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what the guy had too on his phone.
Yeah, so the cop come and showed me the email. I said, are you kidding me? A third grader can make this up and send this to somebody. I said, show me where I've signed this.
A contract has a definition that includes signatures of 2 or more parties.
Right, so the guy
and witnesses are required.
The guy got the keys back somehow. I can't remember how he got the keys back after I jumped the car off and left it behind the barn. I can't remember how he got them back, but the cop went back and told him that, and the cop brought the keys back and handed them to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's a civil matter. The guy had to leave.
Absolutely.
In addition, in my case, I had the lien. There was no lien holder on my title. So when they showed up, I had everything. I had my bill of sale that showed that it was like quote unquote cash deal, because I got the check directly from the credit union and I bought it. So it wasn't through the dealership.
Right. That's what we did too.
Yeah. So when I registered my car in Delaware, because I'm in New York, so I went to Delaware because I have a property in Delaware. So I went and registered there and everything. The officers, they were looking at each other and they're like, yeah, but there's no lien holder on here. But the guy he already jacked the car up.
So what do you think that tow truck driver did to get your information?
He got it from an attorney. I have the attorney, Michael J. Langer, who actually bought some debt from the bank.
Okay. So now,
Identity theft.
this is exposing something, guys. That's exposing something.
Yeah.
Because this is why when people say, well, why don't you just pay your mortgage? Why don't you just pay this? You know, it's like you think that the reason that you're able to hold on to your possessions is that you paid it off or there's no lien or whatever. These attorneys that buy debt, they prey on people. This is why people with no mortgage are still being so-called foreclosed on.
Right. And then he was trying to get Delaware to actually give him a lien. And they said, no.
Make me the beneficiary.
Yes.
Make me the beneficiary.
Exactly. Because in some of the complaint, he said to the judge, this is a constructive trust and you should make her the trustee and me the beneficiary.
Yeah, but it's a constructive trust. Where's the trustee then?
Yeah.
Where's the trustee? But wait, also, who was paying the taxes for the trust?
Okay, so the judge ruled in their favor, in the credit union favor, and said that my government filing is seemingly false. My 1099 A and C that I did back in 2018 when I bought it, because
the judge is trying to enter facts that are not in evidence.
Yeah, or she's a IRS agent or something, so she has to show that credential.
Yeah, either way, she better shut up unless she's going to be an expert witness.
Oh yeah, I got her now. I got her. She was censored and everything. So in addition, what this guy did, the attorney, he actually filed a UCC-1 with New York State to make him the credit union or him the owner, the lien holder, which is illegal as well.
You bought junk debt, sir.
Yeah,
you bought junk debt. Who told you to do that? Now you're messing with the right one.
So damn lien. There's no lien.
Testifying from the bench.
Yeah,
testifying from the bench.
You goddamn garbage collector.
So he had to eat. Okay, so 2 weeks later, they tried to give it back to me when Range Rover called me and told me to come and pick it up. I never went to pick it up. The reason why, because my son, when I went to Jamaica August of last year, my son actually, it was actually dripping antifreeze. So he blew the head gasket. I already brought the Range Rover and they told me I need a new engine. So they came 2 weeks in to pick it up. I'm like, good riddance.
Thanks. I was trying to figure out how I was going to get rid of it.
And now they're going to pay my ass because the trust property.
Yeah.
So they actually got it from, say, September of 2021 till now, and he's begging the judge. He's like, it's costing him so much money to store it, and this and this and this and this. I'm like, no one told you to touch it, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You the one who came after it. Now you complaining. Get out of here.
Because he never knew that I would have done what I did, and he was hoping that he could have sold at an auction and get some money, but he couldn't. He still can't. And I'm still fighting them to the end. Because he who leaves the battlefield first is a loser.
That's right. Ain't nothing but strokes of pen anyway. Type up some stuff. Exactly. Right. Talk to the hand, someone says in the chat.
I have another outburst.
Oh, shoot. Go ahead, Trinity.
I know it's not relating to what we're talking about with the.
Yeah, so this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to cut the video.